the ultimate diff. We're having way too much fun in here. That's how you do a torsion diff. It revs to 7,800 RPM. So when driving on the highway, the FRS 3UZ system revs out pretty high threes. When you're going about, 60, 70 miles an hour, you really don't want to do 80. It gets up there in the rev. So we solved that problem. We have 3 different differentials that we know fit. Here's what we found from all of our research, and what we recommend to do with this is accordingly. The ultimate diff that you can find that just works, plugs and plays, and it's going to be your best bet is this IS300 manual transmission torsion differential, the 3.73 diff out of a manual IS300 locking differential vehicle. Very rare. We only found 2 in America. This one was extremely expensive. We don't even want to share how much we paid for this. It was that expensive. With that said, the little known secret that nobody really talks about, the speed secret we're going to give away today, is the IS250 manual transmission open differential is a 3.73. The reason that these are so cheap is because they're open and nobody uses them. Today, we're going to show you guys how to take the FRS diff that has a torsion inside, a torsion actual differential center section. We're going to take that out of the FRS diff. We're going to put that inside the IS250 open diff and make this a locking differential that works inside of that vehicle. All 3 of these differentials have the same rear casing bolt pattern. They have similar front ears. The bolt pattern is technically the same. The bushings and stuff are a little bit different, and the bolt diameter is a little bit different. We can work with all this and get this going. The front flanges are the same. The distance from the front flange to the rear diff is the same. The difference between the IS300 versus the IS250 and the FRS is this comes with stub shafts. All of that's not important because we can pop these stubs out and use the FRS axle. What I will say today is after 3 or 4 months of properly testing this, if you know what I mean, this car has not broken a differential. It has not broken a transmission. The transmission might be on its last limb, but it's still intact and it hasn't broken. We haven't broke any parts of the drivetrain. Everything is still good to go. Everybody was kind of really skeptical of whether or not this thing was going to hold up over time, but pretty pumped. This is awesome. This is a good setup. Anyway, the speed secret for today is IS250 open diff with the FRS insides is going to be what we're going to tell you guys to kind of do if you're on a budget and you want to take your existing FRS diff and get a better ratio on it while still having a locking center section. Little tools list. If you want to come over here, we got the pry bar to get the axle/stubs out. You're definitely going to need this and a lot of force. Most of the fasteners in the back for the lower suspension, 17 mil. You're going to need a socket and a wrench for that. The drive shaft fasteners are 14 mil front and back. You're going to want to use a small extension with a 14 mil if you wanted to use an impact to kind of make it a little bit easier on yourself to knock those out pretty quick. One of the last things that's kind of obscure is a 10 mil Allen to fill it up once you kind of get the new diff back in. Exhaust off. I'm going to take it all off in technically one piece from here back. Else is draining. We're going to go ahead and pop these off. You want to get the pry bar. It's a long pry bar, like 36 inch. You want to hold the side of the pry bar right here and pop it right here. You don't want to really use the dust cover. You don't want to use this dust cover right here as a part to pry on. You want to pry on the actual machined part of the boot, and it's a lot of force. When I say a lot of force, I mean a decent amount of force. And now that it's kind of off, it should pop out with just a tiny bit of, there it is. Once you feel that kind of pop with that pin coming out of the splines, it really just comes out pretty easy. Now that it's kind of loose, we need to knock off this 17 right here, this 17 right here. The whole upright is going to kind of come out. That should allow the axle to pop all the way out. Yep. Loosen these up, and then we're going to go ahead and hit them with the impact. Close forged 17. It's got a 17 hex in the back and an impact grade 17 on the front. If you look right here, These things are cool. Like a normal ratcheting wrench wouldn't really fit. My ratchet probably would fit on there with this. So I was able to get that very, very easily. Look at that. He's kind of done. Boom, look at that. We got it off. All right, guys, we're here with Eric, Suncoast automotive specialist, Lexus mechanic of like 15, 20 years. We're taking apart, we're showing you guys what differentials work on the FRS, basically make the gearing and the RPM a little bit more agreeable to highway speeds, 70 miles an hour and plus. What we found from all of our research is the 3.73 or the 3.9 are gonna be the most ideal differentials. You wanna stay away from this 410. This is an OEM differential out of the FRS. This is the 410 right here from the FRS, and this is a IS250 373. So the purpose of this video, what we're gonna show you guys is essentially how to take the guts, the torsion portion of this, the inners of this differential, and we're gonna try to put it into the IS250 diff. So it's not that easy, but it's also not that hard, and that's why we're here. We're gonna go ahead and show you the right way to do this.
I mean, I'll give a pro tip. If you wanna change gear ratios in your FRS, don't buy gears and attempt to put them in your FRS diff, because there's way more setup. You have to set pinion depth, there's all kinds of crap you have to set up. Buy the 250 diff, take the center out. If you're not messing with the pinion depth, you just swap the gear over from your 250 diff, from your 250 open diff, the Torsen housing from your FRS to the IS250 diff, because swapping pinions is a pain in the butt, and most people don't have the equipment or the patience to do it. You have to have a dial indicator, hydraulic press. You can only use a crush sleeve once, so once you torque it down, it's done. So you have to assemble it multiple times without a crush sleeve in there to get the depth. It's a huge undertaking. Just swap the Torsen, take the ring gear off your IS250 open diff, put it on the Torsen diff, drop it in, set your backlash and your bearing preload, and you're good.
So with that said, we got new bearings, new races, new seals. Took about a week to get from Lexus, not a big deal. But this is, you need this and the ring gear fasteners. Those are a one-time use fastener, but it's an immense amount of torque that goes into those. So with all that said, we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna flip this back over so all the oil kind of settles in this top part and show you guys how to rip this thing apart. Pro tip, flip the diff upside down if it's not fully drained.
Upside down on a bench, all your fluid will settle down, because there's always leftover fluid. Even if you take drain plug out, it'll all settle down here so you can pop the cover off without making a sloppy mess.
Couple hits. This is the left side, driver's side USDM, right side, because this is upside down. And we're gonna go ahead and take this L right here and flip it upside down like that. You can't really see this on YouTube, but it stinks so bad. She's out, baby. Load on the side.
Sets your bearing preload and sets your backlash, your gear backlash.
And they just come out that way.
When you do this, you basically pray that the old ones will work properly with the new gears, because if they don't, you have to order them. And there's about 100 different sizes.
Oh, that was easy. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, it's out, guys. Chat, look at that. 200,000 mile inner diff. Oh yeah, that's working. Oh, that's definitely working. You don't want to hit it directly. There's a tiny little edge on the side of it. Oh yeah, it's coming right off.
So, most people don't realize that gears, ring gears, pinion gears, diff gears aren't actually fully hardened. They can't harden the whole gear because they'll become brittle, break easy.
This is a 410. We're not going to use this. for YouTube, I'd like to just, drop it in the garbage. We're here. This is the Torsen innards out of a FRS, and this thing still worked great. I was able to clutch kick and break both tires free, even after 200,000 miles. This is the IS250 diff. We're gonna go ahead and start taking this apart now. And flip it over. Pro tip, flip it over so it doesn't leak everywhere. I'm gonna put that back in. Why 32? I don't know the answer to that question, but that's what it is. That's the 373. That's how you can tell it's a lower gear ratio. If I were to go back and do it again, I'd probably do a 3.9. A 3.9, and this thing was super sick. Oh yeah, that's working. We just got that off. Now we gotta take this and either weld it or throw it in the garbage. We got this dressed, it's clean somewhat. And we're gonna pull these gears off right here. And basically we got new bearings and whatnot. And we're gonna go ahead and put new seals and everything. So we're gonna pop these seals off.
If you're doing your bearings, which you should, do them before you bolt the ring gear on, because you don't want to hit this in the press or chip it. Don't chip any teeth.
Actually worked great.
I will say, for the record, buy OEM bearings.
Buy OEM bearings for
There's
sure.
cheaper options, but the OEM are so precisely machined that you most likely will not need to change the shims. The shims will drop right in and it'll
Also,
have the
this is
correct
seal.
preload and everything will work.
Seal part number. This is the seal part number here. This is a pro tip. If you don't have a,
Basically, to make a sleeve of shim, just press the new bearing in. Just cut the cage off the old bearing with some good side cutters, and there's your shim.
you press it right on. Boom, let's go. Straight. And you make sure you're wearing eye protection, PPE. Only reading about 1 ton of pressure. That should be enough. There it is, guys.
Yep.
And you guys got right in? Yeah, we got right in.
You can't drop the ring gear on because you can only guess where the holes are going to be, and if you drop it on, it sticks. You can't move it. So you got to do this.
Are you saying it's an obscure bolt pattern? It's not all...
No, it's just they're super accurate. There's no give in these holes.
Dead nut.
And really, you're supposed to put the ring gear. They want you to put the ring gear in boiling water
We can do that.
to expand it.
You want to do that?
It's if you have to put a ton of pressure on them, it's a bad idea. But these usually slide right on. All right, 72. Start. Definitely want to do this slowly. I'm going to just start cranking them down so you want the gear pulled on uniformly. So what we're doing is we're measuring this because we didn't touch the pinion bearings. We just want to measure this for documentation of what we're starting with. So we're starting with basically 1 inch-pound of rotational resistance and bearing preload. So then we're going to drop the actual diff in. Once we put the diff in, we'll measure the bearing preload again because that's going to give us our total preload at the pinion. Which on the 220s, we generally add 12, basically 12 inch-pounds once the diff is in. So we should see about 13 inch-pounds of rotational resistance at the pinion once this is all assembled. Be very careful with this because, as I said before, if you chip the teeth, your ring gear is basically useless.
It'll grind itself into oblivion. Did you put the shims in, or that's what we're doing right now?
That's what we're doing right now.
All right, dial indicator.
I have a set of brass grips that could be really handy for this.
63?
63 foot-pounds. And this is where it gets tedious because we may have to take it all back apart again once we measure everything. Because we use the shims that came out of it, hopefully not. Okay, so it's actually really good. It's about 11. That's really, really good. With new bearings, you want about 17 inch-pounds of preload. With used bearings, especially with these, God knows what the miles is, the old IS250 diff, they're so broken in, you're not going to get any preload. Like if you were to change the front seal, you might put a little bit of bearing preload on them, but you're going to measure almost nothing. So this one measured 1 inch-pound. Now the total assembly, when you turn the pinion with the diff bolted in, you want to add 11 to 13 inch-pounds to your total rotating resistance. So right now we're getting 11. So, I mean, we added another 10 to it, so I'm perfectly happy with that. To try and, we could spend another 3 hours changing shims to get 2 inch-pounds of preload. It's not worth it. So now we need to check the backlash, because backlash feels good. Backlash should be 2 to 5 thousandths. With new bearings, you want 17 inch-pounds of bearing preload. So you want to torque everything down to where the bearing has 17 inch-pounds of resistance going this way. Either way, really. New bearings, you're going to have almost nothing. But we took our measurement before, it was 1,000th of preload. So now we need to add 10 to 13 thousandths of preload for the whole assembly, including the diff with the diff bolted in. So now rotating it, and it's right at 11 thousandths. It's right 11, about 11 thousandths.
And then we're going to measure the...
So Toyota wants 2 to 5 thousandths of bearing backlash, of gear backlash, which is almost nothing.
You can see that this has got the optimal amount of backlash right here.
Literally 5 thousandths.
2.5 thousandths.
2.5, yeah.
Actually, it's about 3.
2.5, maybe 3. That's perfect.
So this is dialed in, literally.
That's what happens when you use factory bearings and put the shims back where they belong.
So we start at 0.
Unless you're going with a CAS or an aftermarket diff, you're going to be really close and put everything back.
You hold the front pinion bearing and you just try to rock this thing back and forth to see how much lash there is. And that's exactly what you want. That's it, guys.
On Toyota to Toyota, you keep the shims you took out. Toyota stuff is machined so precise. It's most likely going to be within spec when you put it back together with everything right where it came out and use factory bearings. It's going to be good. That's all you need. Not more, not giant globs. It's a 1/4 inch bead and it's still going to blow out the sides everywhere.
And Fippage is different colors for different things. This is a lot thicker of an oil. They use the orange specifically for this.
Yes.
As opposed to the black. The black is what you would seal up a motor. There it is.
But yes, you don't need much, and like I say, as soon as I torque this down, it's going to glob out everywhere anyways.
14.
It's a perfectly machined surface, so there's no space in there for a lot of silicone. If you put more, it's going to end up getting trapped in it's going to end up in your diff, getting trapped in some of the oil passages, getting trapped in your pinion bearings. Don't be that guy. Don't be a silicone monster.
It's going in real easy. So, another video in the works. That's how you do a torsion diff in a IS250. You have an IS250, you want a torsion diff, grab an FRS, watch this video. Boom. And these are IS300 stubs. You can use these. Look at that. Look at how cool that is. Boom. That goes to 56 foot-pounds once we're done with that. These go to 70 foot-pounds right up here, these front ears. 70 foot-pounds. 56 in the back. And I usually just do German tight on these right here. Getting these in without damaging the boot is tough. I got a dead blow, and then I got this big ass set of channel locks. So I grip onto this little, there's like this little like recessed machined area right here. I grip onto it as hard as I can. Pro tip. Yep. All right, guys. Eric basically knocked out this IS250 diff. It's a manual IS250 diff, 373 gearing, and we just put that FRS torsion inside on it. This is the equivalent of an IS300 manual torsion differential, which is extremely rare and super expensive. I saw one on Car Dash Part go for $2,500. And to be honest, that's not a bad price for something so rare that you will almost never see in the wild. So we basically made the same thing for at least 1/4 the price. All OEM parts. You look at the price tag for the parts, just for the bearings and seals, $198. It's got new bearings. The lash, we checked the lash, has a little under 3 thousandths of lash. And what? The rolling resistance is like 11 thousandths.
Yeah, 11 thousandths.
Or 11 inch-pounds or whatever. It's crazy. This is like the best way to do a manual 373 diff for the 3UZ FRS. I feel like this is the proper diff. It's either this or the 3.9. The 3.9 is probably the next best thing. Thoughts?
Well, I will say, when you're done, especially on a Torsen, you don't need fancy oil. You don't need Redline or Lucas or whoever you want to use. A lot of their additives will actually start to separate under hard use, and especially with the Torsen. The gear shearing will actually cause the additives to separate, and you'll get a white, funky buildup in your oil passages. It's almost like a grease. It's almost like lithium grease, and it's not good for the diff. Mobile One. Mobile gear oil is all I use in every diff I build. 7590 GL5 for a factory Torsen. Anything else, I'm doing a clutch type, I might use 75-140 because they do get hotter and you do get more, it does quiet them down, but Mobile One is all I use in diffs and it works fantastic. You don't need the overly priced fancy crap, you just don't need it.
This is it, guys. I feel like this video was a win. We went ahead and installed that IS300 torsion diff in the car. We've been driving it for about 200 miles at this point. It's awesome, man. I'm 2,800 RPM at 70 miles an hour. I did not have to do anything on the Link ECU or any part of the car. The ABS system kind of picked up the reluctor from the front wheels or whatever. It just went ahead and automatically fixed the speedo. So that car is a proper daily driver now. You can drive on the highway, you can drive anywhere. It still burns out in first gear without touching the brakes or clutch kicking. It's awesome. It is a good set of headers away from being a finished car, in my opinion. Stay tuned for the next video. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of new stuff coming up, AC lines, other stuff like that. Just go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. Big thanks to Eric, Suncoast Automotive Specialist. And big thanks to you guys. Keep those comments coming in. What do you guys want to see next? You guys want to see boost? You guys want to see flat plane crank? What do you guys want to see? Let me know in the comments.
Flat plane crank UZ.
That would be rad. If you're in Australia or New Zealand and you can make a flat plane crank, get at us.